What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Nothing But Anime. We're continuing our What If Deku Had the Omnitrix's Power series with part 10. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest videos. Let's get started. Vilgax. Fists collided with each other as a spacecraft was rising to outer space, but it was damaged and parts of it were exploding. As the fists collided, two alien girls, one that looked like a teenaged werewolf and the other, a little mummified girl, and Inko who was in some sort of suit, were trying to push a big metal piece of another alien as one green and black blob with one green eye was pulling on the leg of the alien trapped under. Now, I know what you are thinking. What the hell is going on? Who's fighting who? And why is a ship going to outer space right before it looks like it's about to explode? Well, to answer those questions, we're gonna have to jump back in time about 2 hours ago to see what was the cause of all this. Time Jump Back Edition. 2 hours ago. USJ Facility. U.Ahai, Mizutofu, Japan. The students and teachers watched as a purple portal opened by the fountain as people were walking out of it. 3 men walked out of the portal. One with hands all over him, one with black skin and scars over its body, and a tall and muscular young man in a tight black t-shirt over a gray long-sleeve shirt, blue pants, and black combat shoes. His hair was long and styled into a choppy mullet. Kirishima got curious. Wait, did the training start alright? I thought we were rescuing people, Kirishima said as Izuku took a small step to see what was going on. Stay back, Aizawa shouted. Izuku noticed that Aizawa was putting on his goggles. This is real. Those are real villains, Aizawa said as the students was stunned by the news. The only real heroes I see are Vlad King, 13 and Eraserhead, a voice said by the portal. Perplexing. According to the schedule you retrieved from UA, All Might should be here as well, the voice said as the portal gained yellow eyes. So, you scumbags used the press as a cover to sneak into the campus, Aizawa said. The villains were heading towards the stairs that the group were on top of. Figures. I suspected that no one in the media could have a quirk strong enough to break through the barrier, Vlad said. Students from both classes were stunned at this. It was the villains all along that caused the security to trip and caused the panic they were in. Where is he? I went through the trouble in bringing so many friends that were eager to meet him. They want All Might, the great symbol of peace. I can't believe he's not here. The man was the hands over his body said before a dark idea came to him. Maybe if I kill a few kids, he'll come out to play, he said. Aizawa's scarf rose up with his hair while Vlad's piles on him were filling with blood. We gotta do something. We need to call back up, one kid from Class B said. Wait a minute. If the villains are here, shouldn't the alarm sound off already? Kendo asked as everyone looked around to see that no alarm went off. Yeah, 13. Why haven't they gone off? Momo asked the hero. Good question. I'm not sure, the pro said. Is the entire campus under attack? Or is this their only target? Todoroki asked. Either way, if the alarm sensors aren't being triggered, then one of those villains must have a quirk that's masking their presence here. They carefully chose this isolated facility as an entry point at a time when a class was being taught. They're fools for trespassing here, but they thought this out. Whatever their plan is, they must have a concert objective in mind. But what is it? Todoroki finished as the classes flinched at the idea that the villains had something in mind. But what is it? 13. Get them out of here and alert the main campus, Aizawa said but realized something. Actually, if they have the ability to block our sensors, then they might block our regular communications too. Kaminari, try using your quirk to connect the school, Aizawa said. Yes, sir. Kaminari as he went to his headphone. Lucy went to her pocket and took out something in secret. What are you two going to do? You guys can't fight all of them on your own. Even if you can, your fighting styles isn't suited of this, Izuku said in concern. I agree with Midoriya. Please don't do this, Vlad King, sir, Kendo pleaded. It's alright, Kendo. My main concern is you kids and your lives, Vlad said. You can't be a pro if you only have one trick. I thought you would know that the most problem child, Aizawa said as Izuku watched the two heroes get ready. We'll leave it to you, 13, Aizawa said with 13 nodding. The two pros jumped down the stairs as 3 villains were waiting for them. Aizawa charges towards them as one of them had barrels on his fingers. He was about to shoot when Aizawa activated his quirk and no bullets came out, erasing his and the other's quirks. Aizawa used his capture weapon and wrapped them up and sending them to the air only to down them down and hitting each other. Another villain with 4 arms, no, not 4 arms, rushed to Aizawa to punch him but Vlad intercepted. Using his enhanced speed, the blood hero threw a punch to the villain's face, sending him flying towards the dome's roof. Vlad used his quirk and injected his blood to his gloves and shot out a gush of blood to the villain who was now on the roof. He'd be stuck there as the blood hardened in seconds. Thanks for that. Keep them busy for a while till backup comes, Aizawa said before punching a villain's face that was trying to blindside him. Aizawa backflip and throw his capture weapon and wrapped a villain and started to swing him. He used the trapped villain as a wrecking ball as he swung towards the villains. Vlad used his blood and hardened it as he slams down to the ground and creates a shockwave that pushes the villains away. There they go, trying to intimidate us. And since his eyes are hiding behind those goggles, you can't tell whose quirk is he erasing. He's making it hard for us to work together or rely on each other's powers. And when he does, the other one can attack. the handman said as Izawa kicks a female villain's face and Vlad punches one more big villain, causing him to fly and slam into others. How annoying. The worst thing about dealing with pros is when they live up to all their hype, the handman said, which scratching his neck with 2 fingers. The teen next to him chuckles. Yeah, but you gotta admit that those guys are cool. I wonder if the Google wearing one can erase my power, the teen said as he watches Izawa fight. Back at the stairs, Izuku watches his teachers fight. Whoa, they're holding them off. I guess I shouldn't have underestimated them, Izuku said. Lucy turns around and sees Izuku still standing that. She stretches her hand and bops him on the head. Now's not the time to go fanboy on us, Izzy. We gotta go, Lucy yelled. Izuku breaks out of his trances and follows her. He notices something green and black sticking out of her pocket a bit. What is that? Izuku thought. As they run to the door, something purple shoots out from below them as the yellow-eyed villain appears and blocks their way out. There is no escape for you, he said. Izawa sees the villain at the students. Damn it. I blinked and the guy who seems as the most trouble gets away, he thought before kicking a villain in the face. 13. Protect the kids, Vlad said as he ducks from a punch before uppercutting a villain. It's a pleasure to meet you all. We are the League of Villains. I know it's impolite, but we've decided to invite ourselves into this haven of justice to say hello, this villain said as 13 gets in front of the students. And besides, isn't this a fitting place of all might, the symbol of peace to draw his last breath, he said. Izuku got a bit scared and angry when he said that. His right hand was slowly going to the Omnitrix to go hero when Lucy grabbed his arm. He looked up and saw Lucy giving him a tearful glare, telling him to not do it. I believe that he was supposed to be here today, but I see no sign of him. There must have been some sort of change in plan that we could not have foreseen. But in the end, I suppose that it doesn't matter. I still have a role to play, the villain said as he moves. 13 opens her finger hold and was about to use her quirk. Black hole when Bakugu, Kirishima, 2 kids from Class B jumped the villain and attacked. Did you really think that we'd stand around and let you tear this place to shreds? Kirishima asked. He didn't see that coming, we got him, one of the boy from Class B said with iron all over his body. Both classes covered their face from the smoke, mostly from Bakugu's quirk after the attack was done. They waited for the smoke to clear to see that the villain was still standing and that he was totally fine from the attack. You love up to your school's reputation, but you should be more careful, children. Otherwise, someone might get hurt, the villain said. You 4. Get out of the way right now, 13 said. I'll scatter you around this facility to meet my comrades. And your death, the villain shouted as he launched a purple fog to the students, forcing a big blast of wind to them. Crap! What is this? Kirishima asked while shielding his face with his arm. The other 3 did the same. Ida jumped into action as he ran and took Uraraka and Sato and Lucy out of the fog. Shoji grabbed Siro, Mina, Setsuna, Kendo and Hagakure and shielded them with his body. One kid from Class B by the name of Kojiro pulled in some students. The ones who were unfortunate were sucked into the fog as it forms a dome. Ida looks back and sees the dome in shock. What's going on? Ida asked. Izuku shot out of a portal and started to fall into a large body of water. He screams until the screams were silent when he hit the water. Water. That guy must have that can teleport people. It's clear that I'm still in the USJ, Izuku thought as he starts to swim to the surface. He said that they came here to kill All Might. I guess that he's not here right now. But where is he? Izuku thought while swimming. And that guy with the hands on himself. Was he the one who destroyed the gate to the school earlier? Why did they do that? I feel that there's more to this than we know, Izuku thought. He suddenly felt a hand grabbing his left leg. He looks down and sees a girl as she held her hand to her mouth as she held on to him. She was a short girl of a rather thin build, with honey brown hair, curved inwards in a mushroom-shaped bob that reaches just below her narrow shoulders. Her mouth is notably large. Her hero costume consisted of a turtleneck dress with long sleeves and furred cuffs, which is decorated with a red and white fly agric pattern, matching the one on her mushroom cap-shaped hat. She was wearing pale pink knee-high boots with thick tan soles and frilled shafts, patterned with the same fly agric as her dress, and around her waist was a dark brown belt with a large golden buckle. Altogether, her costume bears a strong resemblance to a mushroom. Izuku could see that she was running out of air. He used his right hand to grab her left one and the two started swimming to the surface. All of a sudden, a shark-looking person started to swim to them at a fast pace. Izuku wanted to go to the watch, but he couldn't let down of the girl who was holding to him. The two braced of what was coming to them when Tsuyu, while holding Mineta over her right arm, appeared and kicked the villain's mouth. Hey Midori-chan, Tsuyu said as she shot her tongue out and wrapped around Izuku. Hold on to Midoriya. Okay, Tsuyu said to the girl who nodded as they swam at a fast pace. Shipwreck zone. They arrive at a ship in the middle of the water as Tsuyu rises to the surface. She lifts Izuku and the girl up to the boat and puts them down gently. You know, for a frog, you got some nice big boobs, Tsuyu. Prefect floaters, Mineta said, all tired and leaning onto her bosom. Tsuyu blushed from his actions and embarrassment. She used her tongue and wrapped Mineta up and pulled him from her to the boat, but instead of laying him down like she did with Izuku, She dropped him in air, causing him to bounce on impact in pain. She climbed the boat side with her hands and feet. You saved my life, Azui, Izuku said. Mine, the girl said while coughing for air. I told you to call me Tsu, Tsu said, correcting Izuku. Tsu Azui. Work, frog. It's self-explanatory, she can basically do whatever a frog can do. And it's the least I can do, Tsu said. Are you okay? Izuku asked the girl who grabbed him in the water. Why yeah, thanks for the save, the girl said. No problem, Izuku said. This is turning out to be a horrible day of class, Tsu said. Yeah, Izuku agreed. TT that villain. Did he really say Tich that they came here TT to kill All Might? The girl asked shyly. I believe that he was supposed to be here today, but I see no sign of him. There must have been some sort of change in plan. They knew our whole schedule and who'd be here. They must have gotten into school files while we were in the cafeteria. The teachers were busy with the media. That means that they've been waiting for the perfect time to attack. Just like Todoroki said they were, Izuku said. It's a pleasure to meet you all. We are the League of Villains. I know it's impolite, but we've decided to invite ourselves into this haven of justice to say hello. This villain said as 13 gets in front of the students. And besides, isn't this a fitting place of All Might? The symbol of peace to draw his last breath? He said. Izuku got a bit scared and angry when he said that. His right hand was slowly going to the Omnitrix to go hero when Lucy grabbed his arm. He looked up and saw Lucy giving him an tearful glare, telling him to not do it. I believe that he was supposed to be here today, but I see no sign of him. There must have been some sort of change in plan that we could not have foreseen. But in the end, I suppose that it doesn't matter. I still have a role to play, the villain said as he moves. 13 opens her finger hold and was about to use her quirk. Black hole when Bakugu, Kirishima, 2 kids from Class B jumped the villain and attacked. Did you really think that we'd stand around and let you tear this place to shreds? Kirishima asked. He didn't see that coming, we got him, one of the boy from Class B said with iron all over his body. Both classes covered their face from the smoke, mostly from Bakugu's quirk after the attack was done. They waited for the smoke to clear to see that the villain was still standing and that he was totally fine from the attack. You love up to your school's reputation, but you should be more careful, children. Otherwise, someone might get hurt, the villain said. You 4. Get out of the way right now, 13 said. I'll scatter you around this facility to meet my comrades. And your death, the villain shouted as he launched a purple fog to the students, forcing a big blast of wind to them. Crap, what is this? Kirishima asked while shielding his face with his arm. The other 3 did the same. Ida jumped into action as he ran and took Uraraka and Sato and Lucy out of the fog. Shoji grabbed Shiro, Mina, Setsuna, Kendo and Hagakure and shielded them with his body. One kid from Class B by the name of Kojiro pulled in some students. The ones who were unfortunate were sucked into the fog as it forms a dome. Ida looks back and sees the dome in shock. What's going on? Ida asked. Izuku shot out of a portal and started to fall into a large body of water. He screams until the screams were silent when he hit the water. Water. That guy must have that can teleport people. It's clear that I'm still in the USJ, Izuku thought as he starts to swim to the surface. He said that they came here to kill All Might. I guess that he's not here right now. But where is he? Izuku thought while swimming. And that guy with the hands on himself. Was he the one who destroyed the gate to the school earlier? Why did they do that? I feel that there's more to this than we know, Izuku thought. He suddenly felt a hand grabbing his left leg. He looks down and sees a girl as she held her hand to her mouth as she held on to him. She was a short girl of a rather thin build, with honey brown hair, curved inwards in a mushroom-shaped bob that reaches just below her narrow shoulders. Her mouth is notably large. Her hero costume consisted of a turtleneck dress with long sleeves and furred cuffs, which is decorated with a red and white fly agaric pattern, matching the one on her mushroom cap-shaped hat. She was wearing pale pink knee-high boots with thick tan soles and frilled shafts, patterned with the same fly agaric as her dress, and around her waist was a dark brown belt with a large golden buckle. Altogether, her costume bears a strong resemblance to a mushroom. Izuku could see that she was running out of air. He used his right hand to grab her left one and the two started swimming to the surface. All of a sudden, a shark-looking person started to swim to them at a fast pace. Izuku wanted to go to the watch, but he couldn't let down of the girl who was holding to him. The two braced of what was coming to them when Tsuyu, while holding Mineta over her right arm, appeared and kicked the villain's mouth. Hey Midori-chan, Tsuyu said as she shot her tongue out and wrapped around Izuku. Hold on to Midoriya. Okay, Tsuyu said to the girl who nodded as they swam at a fast pace. Shipwreck zone. They arrive at a ship in the middle of the water as Tsuyu rises to the surface. She lifts Izuku and the girl up to the boat and puts them down gently. You know, for a frog, you got some nice big boobs, Tsuyu. Prefect floaters, Mineta said, all tired and leaning onto her bosom. Tsuyu blushed from his actions and embarrassment. She used her tongue and wrapped Mineta up and pulled him from her to the boat, but instead of laying him down like she did with Izuku, she dropped him in air, causing him to bounce on impact in pain. She climbed the boat side with her hands and feet. You saved my life, Azui, Izuku said. Mine, The girl said while coughing for air. I told you to call me Tsu, Tsu said, correcting Izuku. Tsu Ajui. Work? Frog. It's self-explanatory, she can basically do whatever a frog can do. And it's the least I can do, Tsu said. Are you okay? Izuku asked the girl who grabbed him in the water. Why yeah, thanks for the save, the girl said. No problem, Izuku said. This is turning out to be a horrible day of class, Tsu said. Yeah, Izuku agreed. TT that villain. Did he really say that they came here TT to kill All Might? The girl asked shyly. I believe that he was supposed to be here today, but I see no sign of him. There must have been some sort of change in plan. They knew our whole schedule and who'd be here. They must have gotten into school files while we were in the cafeteria. The teachers were busy with the media. That means that they've been waiting for the perfect time to attack. Just like Todoroki said they were, Izuku said. Okay, hey, hold on a second. It's not like these guys can actually kill All Might. Once he shows up, he'll pound these villains till there's nothing left, Mineta said while punching the air. But think about though, if the villains spent so much time planning this attack, then they probably figured out a way to kill him, Tsu said, making Izuku look at her. And didn't you hear what that smoke guy said? Maybe we should worry about not getting tortured to death. Otherwise we all might not get a chance to see All Might again. And even if he does show up, who knows that he'll make it out in one piece, Tsu said, making Mineta sweating more and more from the truth behind her words. No, the pros are going to save us, right? Tell Frog Boobs to stop it, you two, Mineta said to Izuku and the girl as they were silent from Tsu's words. Izuku and Tsu noticed something coming to them from the water at high speeds. All four turned to see villains coming to them. You bastards and bitches. I'll enjoy eating you all. One of them shouted, causing Mineta to scream. Ah, bad guys. Insert music. My Hero Academia OST. Kui to no Kubu. Ajui's right. If they're here for All Might, that they must have a way to defeat him. They wouldn't have planned this attack if they didn't. But why him out of all the other heroes? Is it because his very existence discriminates villains and evil? Because he's the one and only symbol of peace and justice? Actually, it doesn't matter, Izuku thought as the words All Might told him on the day they met popped into his head. Izuku looks down to the Omnitrix. I don't care what their reasons are. I have to focus. I have to face this evil head on. Tsu, Mineta and the girl were looking at the villains below the water and felt fear creeping up in them. If they can beat him. They turned when they heard Izuku speak and saw his hair was shadowing his eyes. Then we have to stop whatever it is that those bad guys are planning. We have to work together and keep All Might safe. No one at Uda knows what's happening. It's up to us. Let's be heroes, Izuku said with determination in his tone as the three look at him. Landslide zone. At a different site, ice was spreading on the floor as it reaches various villains until it hit their bodies and froze them still. Todoroki and a few others from Class B were standing in front of the villains as the ice came from Todoroki. Aren't you embarrassed that you lost to children? For God's sake, you're adults. Put up a good fight, Todoroki said. Clasp zone. At another different site, Bakugo blow up an explosion onto a villain's face. Him, Kirishima, and the two boys from Class B were fighting a bunch of baddies off. Different zones. At more different zones, students were preparing to fight the villains that surrounding them while at the entrance of the building. 13 was about to do battle with the remaining boys acting as backup and to protect the remaining girls there. Aizawa and Vlad King fought on while the two men and the giant figure watched on before the handman started to walk to see better. Everyone had a fight on their hands. At High, Nizu was walking to the teacher's lounge to talk to All Might about Izuku and the Omnitrix and the effect it has on OFA. He was close when, vibrate, something in his pocket vibrated. He went to his pocket and took out his plumber badge. He opened it and saw a message from Man. From Man. I wonder what could it be, Nizu said as he opened the message. His eye went wide at it. Villains have infiltrated the USJ. Send backup. What? Nizu yelled out as the door to the teacher's lounge opened and Toshi in his normal form popped his head out. Oh, afternoon, sir. What seems to be the problem? Toshi asked. The USJ is under villain attack and Class 1A and 1B are there, Nizu said. What? That's why I felt something's wrong. I'll go there and save them all, Toshi said as he transformed into All Might and ran at full speed. Nizu was about to go and get the rest of the teachers, but he saw an altar on the badge's screen. He taps on it and his pupils shrank. No. No. He can't be here already, Nizu said as he started to run to his office. He tapped on the badge and it glowed. Attention all units, attention all units. This is Plumber Agent N23 and I request assistance. Nizu screamed as he went into his office and opened a door that had a white suit in it with what looked like weapons. Vilgax is here. And he is en route to the Omnitrix that is attached to one Izuku Midoriya. Back at the USJ. Eyes and ears were looking all over the place as they were attached to Shoji, indicating that he was using his quirk. Shoji. Got them? Anything? Where is everyone? Ida asked. They've been scattered across the USJ but everyone is still here, Shoji said as everyone felt relief about that. They look at the mist that was still blocking them. What do we do? The guy's unaffected by physical attacks and he can teleport stuff, Siro said. 13 thought for something. Everyone, who is the fastest in this group? 13 asked. Midoriya is, but he was taken away from that attack earlier, so. It's Ida, Shoji said. Okay, Ida, I need a favor. Run to the school and alter them of what's happening here. 13 said, causing Ida to hesitate. The alarms aren't sounding and our phones and radios aren't working, so one of those villains must be to blame. Even though Eraserhead is canceling people's Curix left and right and Vlad King's pounding on to people with his blood. They'll run out of fuel soon and we're sealed off from the outside world. It's better for you to run down to the school and get back up than for us to wait. 13 said. Yes, but it'll be disgraceful for me to leave you all here. Ida said. Go bro. There's a lot of alarms outside. Sato said as he walked forward and got into a fighting stance. There's why they're keeping us in here, right? Sato said. As long as you can get outside, they won't follow. Siro said as he walked forward to and got into his fighting stance. Blow this stupid mist away with your speed and engine, Siro said. Use your quirk to save others. Be a real hero. What would your class rep do if he was here? 13 asked. Ida was speechless as Shoji and the rest of the Class B boys stepped forward and stood to the mist. I can help you out. I'll float you like I did to Izuku back at the cafeteria, Uraraka said with Mina and Kendo nodding to him. Please, Izuku trusted you to be a class officer like me and Achiko. Make him proud. Lucy said as Ida remembered why Izuku chosen him to be a class officer. I feel that each one of the people that I call are responsible and level-headed in decision-making. Ida looked on until he got serious as he got into a running position and his exhausts popped out of his legs. Even if this is your only option, are you really fast enough to get past me? The mist villain yelled as he attacks. 13 reacted. It doesn't matter what we're planning once I make you into atoms. 13 said as she used her quirk and started sucking the mist villain into her fingers. Back at the shipwreck zone. What do you mean fight? Are you crazy? Mineta started to shout as he heard Izuku's plan. These guys might be able to kill All Might and you think we can take them? Did you hit your head when we got wrapped here? The best way for us to live through this is wait for a pro to come and save us. Mineta yelled as he danced around in a panic state with tears falling from his eyes. Izuku and Tsuyu looked at the water below, completely ignoring Mineta's outburst while the mushroom girl was slowly patting him on the back. Think about it. Those villains down there clearly have an advantage down there in the water and will assume that's what we'll fight. Izuku said, analyzing the situation. Are you even listening to me? Mineta yelled. If that's the case, they must have known what was inside the USJ before they came in. Tsuyu said. Yeah, but for a group with such careful planning, there's something that sticks out to me, something that doesn't add up. They sent me and you ASU. Izuku cuts himself off when Tsu glanced at him when he was about to address her by her family name. Whoops, I meant Tsu. Izuku corrected himself as Tsu looks at him. What do you mean by TT that? The mushroom girl asked. I mean that they sent Tsu here who has a clear advantage on water, while I'm a wildcard here. In fact, I don't think that they know what our quirks are, Izuku said as Tsu realizes the fact. You've got a point, Karo. If they knew that I was a frog, they would have sent me into the fire zone instead of here where there's water, Tsu said while looked at a dome with flames drawn on it. They probably sent us in different zones since they don't know our powers and plan to overpower us in numbers since they think we're easy targets since we're kids. We can use that knowledge to our advantage here. They don't know what our quirks are. To them, we could be the most powerful in the facility, Izuku said as the villains glare at them. Look, see. None of them are trying to climb into the boat. That proves that they're a little unsure. But that means that they aren't going to underestimate us either. They're being smart and playing it safe. For now, that is, Izuku said. So, let's talk quirks. I'll go first if you want, Tsu said as the four sit down and look at each other. My quirk makes me jump pretty high, obviously, and cling to pretty much anything. I can shoot out my tongue like any old frog, but my limit is about 20 meters. Oh yeah, I can spit out my stomach so I can clean it, it's pretty useless though. And I secrete a toxic mucus. It just strings a bit. Tsu finished her explanation of her quirk as Mineta blushes at the mention of secrete. We can probably use my tongue and jumping in this one so forget about the last things, Tsu said. Wow. I knew that you were strong but that's amazing, Izuku said, amazed by Tsu's quirk. The frog girl blushes a bit. My turn, Izuku said as he rolls his sleeve and reveals the watch to them. My quirk. Unstable genetics, it comes in two parts. One allows me to transform into different forms or aliens as I like to call them with each of their own special quirk with the use of this watch which acts like a support item. It separates and manipulates my DNA so I can change. There's a time limit on it so I can't stay in one form of long. There's also this power-up I have, basically it changes and powers up and form to great heights but it comes with a cost. It acts like a double-edged sword. I can't use it for long and it'll hurt to the point where I change back to normal. I haven't used it in human form yet but I think it'll hurt me the same way, Izuku said. My turn, the mushroom girl said nervously. My name is Kanoko Komori Ea and my quirk is mushroom, the girl now named Komori said. My quirk allows me to spread various types of fungus SSS spores from my body, she said as she activates it and a bunch of mushrooms started growing on the wall of the ship. The spores will quickly grow into full-grown mushrooms once they make contact with a solid surface. The mushrooms CCC can grow from various surfaces, including my SSSS surroundings, my own body, and even an opponent's body. They only last for 2 to 3 hours and teach the spores spread better in a humid environment. Please take care of me, Kanoko yelled. Mineta took a ball from his hair and a new one quickly came in the place of the old one. I've got these sticky balls that grow from my head, Mineta said as he puts the one in his hand to the wall next to the mushrooms and it stick there. Their strength varies, depending on how I'm feeling. They might stick to something the whole day. They grow back as fast as I pull them off, but my head will bleed if I pull too many. Oh, and they don't stick to me. I just bounce right off. Mineta finished his quirk explanation as the other 3 teens look at him until he started crying. Hey, don't look at me like that. This is why I said we should wait of the real heroes. My quirk is totally unfit of battle, Mineta said as the 3 sweat drop. No, I'm just surprised by your quirk, man, Izuku said. Why yeah, Komori said. Yup, Su said. Suddenly a hand made out of water appeared and cut through the boat, cutting it in half. The teens grabbed on to something as the ship was shaking and started to sink. That's a great power. And the ship's sinking. Su pointed out the obvious as Mineta ran to the side and started to throw his balls. /n. That felt so wrong to write. At the villains. Mineta, don't freak out. Izuku yelled at the shorter boy while he threw the balls. Oh no man, they'll guess you're... Izuku cut himself off when he saw that the villains were moving away from the floating ball. They're afraid to touch them, Izuku thought as an idea came to him. That's it. We're die. Fish food, Mineta said as he was freaking out. Suyu looked at him and had a question in her mind. So Mineta, are you sure that the hero thing is right for you? Su asked. Shut up. Is it weird to be scared or not? I mean, we just got out of junior high a little while ago. I didn't think I'd be facing death just after starting U.A. I can't believe that I'm going to die without touching Yaoyorozu's boobs. Mineta yelled as Izuku was set off from that. Listen here. No one's going to die. An enemy that is such that victory is theirs is bound to make a big mistake. All Might said that in a TV interview once. Izuku said as Mineta saw his hands were shaking. And their mistake was sending me here, Izuku said as he was to walk to the side of the ship. Kanoko was having an anxiety attack. Can I do this? Can I really use my quirk to stop the villain? No, I'll just mess things up like I always do. Just like in junior high, Kanoko thought as she remembers the slander she got for her quirk in junior high. Hey, Komori! Kanoko looked up and saw Izuku looking at her. I know you're scared, but don't be. I know you can do this. I believe in you, Izuku said with a smile as Kanoko looked at him as her eyes were revealed as the wind blew by. They were wide and rather cat-like, tilted inwards with rather long lower eyelashes, and her irises were warm brown color. Kanoko's pupils were little black crosses, both together highly resembling the caps of cross-sliced shiitake mushrooms. Su, you know what to do, Izuku said as Tsu nodded. Good, Izuku said as he stomps onto the railing on the ship. Rah! He roared as he jumps off the boat. Stupid move, kid, one of the villains said confidently, thinking Izuku's dead meat. Insert music. My Hero Academia OST. You say run. Come on, think. I can't use the Omnitrix now, not yet. Not until the rest are off the boat, that is. And even if I use the smash, I can't get them when they're in a circle like that. Plus, there's other enemies outside the space wreck zone. I can't sacrifice my arm just yet or go alien since it'll waste my time. Not yet, and this'll be the first time I use OFA in human form. I have to time this right, Izuku thought as he places his left middle finger to his left thumb as red-like veins appeared. Back onto the sinking ship, Tsu had Mineta and Kanoko on her as she was about to jump. Ready you two? Tsu asked while waiting for Izuku's call. How does he do it? He's scared like me, Mineta thought. And he's shaking, Kanoko thought. But Kanoko remembered what he said to her. I know you're scared, but don't be. I know you can do this. I believe in you. He's going through with this. Izuku positioned himself as he was about to hit the water. Take this. Delaware Smash. Izuku called out his new move as he flicks his fingers and a huge burst of wind hit the water and caused a whirlpool too and the villains to get sucked into it. Izuku held his injured fingers and turned to the boat as he fell. Tsu, Mineta, Kanoko, now! Izuku yelled as he places his right fingers onto the Omnitrix's faceplate. Tsu jumped into the air with her passengers as Mineta and Kanoko looked at the force of Izuku's attack. What the heck, Midoriya? How do you do it? Mineta thought. Midoriya, how do you do it? Kanoko thought. You look so cool while I'm doing nothing, but no more. You're scared but you push your fear down to act. Something I haven't been doing. The two thought as Mineta placed his hand on his ball hair and Kanoko took out 2 spray bottles. Ah, take this you villains. Eat my sticky balls. Mineta yelled as he threw his balls. /n. Dude. This feels so fucking wrong to write. At the whirlpool. Ah. Have some mushy mushrooms. Kanoko yelled as she sprayed her bottles at Mineta's balls. It caused mushrooms to grow off them and started to follow with the villains as they were getting dragged into the whirlpool. The balls stuck onto the villains as the mushroom spread from them and onto the villains as the purple balls stuck them together and the water shot up like a geyser. Izuku fell into the water and a green flash appeared under the water as something shot out of it in great speeds and took Tsuyu and company who were still in the air. If a strong force is applied onto a water surface, the water will be pushed away and then come rushing right back to the middle. A voice said. We rounded them all up. Not too shabby. You guys are amazing. All three for you. And thanks for the lift, Midori-chan. Sue said as she looks up to a face. This figure was a red, humanoid manta ray-like alien with green eyes, black outlines on his face, yellow horns extending from his nose. He had gills underneath his arms and a yellow patagia which he was using to fly, and two black lightning bolt-like stripes coming down from his shoulders to the watch's symbol was on his chest. No problem, Tsu. Izuku said as he felt his fingers were broken as Mineta's head was bleeding and Kinoko was crying. Izuku flew over the water and straight to the stairs. They had passed the shipwreck zone. End music. Somewhere else. A screen showing a green dot where the USJ is. Zo emnitlim waxes foon axendavaxito. One figure said as three were standing outside U.A on a hill. Yeah, I heard. Another one said. You two better not get in my way. One more said as he throws a board to the ground and jumped on it and started flying there. Just. That guy is starting to piss me off. The second one said as his legs started spinning and he went into the ground as the first one just blasted off into the air. Their destination is the USJ itself and they have a job to do. And that's a wrap on part 10, folks. If you haven't seen the earlier parts yet, make sure to visit the playlist. A huge shout out to the author. Don't forget to show your support. I'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in.